Namaskar. A warm welcome to World News and Indian Perspective on All India Radio. This is Prashant Kumar Sinha and with me is Renuka bringing glimpses of the major developments of the day from across the globe. Over the next half an hour, we shall bring you the latest from the world of politics, economy, sports, entertainment and more. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi holds a high-level meeting on oxygen supply and availability. Joe Biden announces U.S. to cut greenhouse gas emissions by 50 to 52% from 2005 levels by 2030. India has taken many bold steps in clean energy, energy efficiency, afforestation and biodiversity, asserts Prime Minister Modi at the Leaders' Summit on Climate. Germany's Upper House of Parliament approves new legislation on coronavirus restrictions. Indian Navy dispatches its deep submergence rescue vessel to support search and rescue of missing Indonesian submarine. And in IPL cricket, Royal Challengers Bangalore take on Rajasthan Royals in Mumbai. As the number of COVID cases are on the rise again, we appeal to our listeners not to lower the guard, follow all precautions and all those above 45 years to get vaccinated without any hesitation. Stay safe and protected by following these three simple steps. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki doori for social distancing and focus on hand and face hygiene. And now the news in detail. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has directed officials to ensure that oxygen supply to various states happens in a smooth and unhindered manner. Chairing a high-level meeting on Thursday to review the oxygen supply across the country and to discuss ways and means to boost its availability, Mr. Modi spoke about the need to fix responsibility with the local administration in cases of obstruction. He also asked ministries to explore various innovative ways to increase production and supply of oxygen. The Prime Minister stressed on the need to ensure faster transportation of oxygen to the states. He also stressed that the states should come down heavily on hoarding. The Prime Minister was briefed on how oxygen supply to states is steadily increasing. Against the present demand from 20 states of 6,785 metric tons per day of liquid medical oxygen, the Government of India since Wednesday has started to allocate 6,822 metric tons per day to the states. It was noted that in the past few days, availability of liquid medical oxygen has been increased by about 3,300 metric tons per day with contributions from private and public steel plants, industries, oxygen manufacturers, as well as through prohibition of supply of oxygen for non-essential industries. The officials briefed the Prime Minister on the efforts undertaken in the last few weeks to improve the supply of oxygen. The officials informed that they are working together with the states to operationalize the sanctioned PSA oxygen plants as soon as possible. Various measures are being undertaken to rapidly increase the availability of cryogenic tankers through conversion of nitrogen and argon tankers to import and airlifting of tankers as well as manufacturing them. It was discussed that railways is being used for rapid and non-stop long-distance transport of tankers. First rig has reached from Mumbai to Vizag to transport 105 metric tons of liquid medical oxygen. Similarly, empty oxygen tankers are also being airlifted to oxygen suppliers to reduce one-way journey time in oxygen supply. Meanwhile, the government has stepped up efforts to augment the supply of oxygen in the country amidst the recent spike of COVID-19 in the country. The Indian Air Force has been pressed into action to augment the government's efforts to contain COVID-19 in the country.
The record spike in COVID cases has increased the COVID-19 active caseload in several states and union territories in India. The Health Ministry has said a record number of over 314,000 fresh cases were reported in the country within 24 hours. This is the highest number of new cases registered in a single day since the outbreak of the pandemic in the country. With this, cumulative positive cases crossed the 1,59 lakh mark. The ministry has said at present there are over 22,91,000 active cases in the country, which comprises 14.38% of the total positive cases. The recovery rate stands at 84.45%. On the vaccination front, the ministry has informed that more than 22 lakh doses of COVID-19 vaccine were administered to the beneficiaries in the last 24 hours. The ministry said that over 13 crore 23 lakh people have been inoculated with COVID-19 vaccine jabs in the country so far. Now let's take a look at the coronavirus updates from around the world.
Germany's upper house of parliament, the Bundesrat, approved new legislation on coronavirus restrictions on Thursday. The new law would apply uniform restrictions at coronavirus hotspots across Germany. The law, dubbed as the Emergency Brake Law, was passed by the lower house Bundestag on Wednesday. The law, which includes curfews and school closures, now requires a president's sign to enter into force in the country. Meanwhile, the German health minister, Jens Spahn, said on Thursday that he expects coronavirus vaccinations to be released for all those willing to be vaccinated in Germany latest by June. The government of Bangladesh has signed an agreement for $250 million financing from the World Bank to help create more and better jobs, recover faster from the COVID-19 pandemic, and build resilience to future crises. The United States will offer tax credits to businesses that grant their employees time off to get the vaccine or recover from its side effects. The credits will be handed to companies and the tax-exempt organizations with fewer than 500 employees, along with some government officers. The amount will be paid from the $1.9 trillion American Rescue Plan President Joe Biden signed last month. The White House announced on Wednesday that the U.S. would meet its target of administering 200 million vaccine doses within his first 100 days in office by the end of this week. Manoj Singh Rana for World News, All India Radio.
This is All India Radio giving you the world news.
3 steps to stay protected and stay safe from COVID-19. Wear face mask, 2 gaz ki duri to maintain social distancing, maintain hand and face hygiene.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said that for humanity to combat climate change, concrete action is needed, and there is need of such action at a high speed, on a large scale and with a global scope. Addressing Leaders Summit on climate change this evening through video conferencing, Mr. Modi said, "We in India are doing our part, and despite the development challenges, India has taken many bold steps on clean energy, energy efficiency, afforestation and biodiversity." He said India's ambitious renewable energy target of 450 gigawatts by 2030 shows our commitment.
Concrete action is needed. We need such action at a high speed, on a large scale and with a global scope. We in India are doing our part. Our ambitious renewable energy target of 450 gigawatts by 2030 shows our commitment. Despite our development challenges, we have taken many bold steps on clean energy, energy efficiency, afforestation and biodiversity.
He said India's per capita carbon footprint is 60% lower than the global average, and it is because of our lifestyle being rooted in sustainable traditional practices. Mr. Modi said that is why he and President Biden are launching the India-US Climate and Clean Energy Agenda 2030 partnership.
As a climate-responsible developing country, India welcomes partners to create templates of sustainable development in India. This can also help other developing countries who need affordable access to green finance and clean technologies. That is why President Biden and I are launching the India-US Climate and Clean Energy Agenda 2030 partnership. Together, we will help mobilize investments, demonstrate clean technologies, and enable green collaborations.
Prime Minister Modi said climate change is a lived reality for millions around the world, and their lives and livelihoods are already facing its adverse consequences. He thanked U.S. President Joe Biden for taking this initiative. President Biden announced a new goal of cutting U.S. greenhouse gas emissions by 50 to 52% by 2030.
By maintaining those investments and putting these people to work, the United States sets out on the road to cut greenhouse gases in half by the end of this decade. That's where we're headed as a nation. And that's what we can do if we take action to build an economy that's not only more prosperous, but healthier, fair, and cleaner for the entire planet.
India's Defence Minister Rajnath Singh on Thursday spoke to his Indonesian counterpart General Prabowo Subianto over phone and shared his pain over the news of missing submarine Nanggala and its crew members. In a tweet, Mr. Singh said India is extending its full support to the ongoing Indonesian rescue efforts. The Defence Minister said he has already directed the Indian Navy to move its Deep Submergence Rescue Vessel DSRV to Indonesia and also tasked the Indian Air Force to see the feasibility of induction of the DSRV intervention system by air. Defence Minister of Indonesia General Subianto has acknowledged and appreciated India's efforts support to Indonesia. A report.
The Indian Navy had dispatched its Deep Submergence Rescue Vessel DSRV on Thursday to assist the Indonesian Navy in search and rescue efforts for the Indonesian submarine KRI Nanggala. The submarine was reported missing on Wednesday. The submarine was reportedly exercising in a location 25 miles north of Bali with a crew of 53 personnel. The submarine rescue is required to be undertaken when a submarine is reported to be missing or sunk, and specialized equipment is required for underwater search to locate the disabled submarine and rescue the personnel who are trapped inside the submarine. India is amongst the few countries in the world capable of undertaking search and rescue of a disabled submarine through a DSRV. Under the framework of the comprehensive strategic partnership between India and Indonesia, the Indian Navy and the Indonesian Navy share a strong partnership of operational cooperation. The two navies have been exercising regularly in the past and have developed synergy and interoperability, which is considered important for the present mission. Manoj Singh Rana for World News, All India Radio.
The head of the military government of Myanmar, Senior General Min Aung Hlaing, will embark on his first foreign visit after the coup to Indonesia to participate in the ASEAN leaders meeting on Saturday. According to reports, 7 Southeast Asian leaders from the 10-nation ASEAN grouping are likely to take part in the summit meeting called to discuss the crises caused by the military takeover of the government on February the 1st. Thailand and the Philippines announced that they will send the foreign ministers for the meeting. The ASEAN meeting is the first concerted international effort to find a solution to the crisis, where at least 739 protesters have been killed since the protests began. In today's Hotspot section, Dr. Srikant Pachauri, Director General of Indian Institute of Sustainable Development, is in conversation with AIR correspondent Renu Kataria for a discussion on the Leaders Summit on Climate.
Good evening, listeners. Today we have with us Dr. Srikant Pachauri to discuss about Leaders Summit on Climate. So what do you think will be India's proposals and actions in this summit to combat climate change?
India is a leader in climate change adaptation and mitigation right from the beginning. I had the opportunity to represent Government of India in our summit in 1992 on the eve of World Environment Day in Rio de Janeiro in Brazil. And that was the starting point of where United Nations Convention for Climate Change took birth. UNFCCC, United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, is the nodal convention which is and the UN body responsible for center staging climate action at the global level involving the member countries. India is one of the front runners as a member country of UNFCCC, and in global platform, India has always played a leadership role in a very dynamic way. Historically, India always keeps saying, I am also a part of the negotiation. We feel that we are not getting our right on carbon space. We have not responsible for the global emissions, the greenhouse gas emissions that has already been accumulated in our atmosphere and which is the main cause of global warming. Our contribution, although is least in per capita term, as also the Prime Minister told today, India's contribution is 60% lower than the global average. Still, we are a country who believes in Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. We believe in all of us living together and want to see the planet to be a better place to live in. With that great universal brotherhood spirit, India is always in the forefront of climate change adaptation and mitigation. Right from our summit, India is very active right from Conference of Parties 1 to Conference of Parties 25, and that has been happened in different countries so far. And now the Conference of Parties 26 is coming in Glasgow, in Scotland of UK, where India will also be giving its leadership and positioning itself how the country has taken the turn. And India has already played a pivotal role in Kyoto Protocol, and it is one of the first countries not only to sign Kyoto Protocol but also to ratify Kyoto Protocol compared to China, USA, and all the developed nations who are more responsible. But we have already shown our commitment, and not only shown, we have executed appropriate policies and program, and we have shown the global leadership in the field of climate change so far. And here I think it is worth mentioning, India has also organized Conference of Parties 8, that is COP8, in New Delhi, where 6,219 participants throughout the globe participated, where around 23 crores were spent in 2002, November and December. And this is a historic event Government of India hosted in global interest, and we decided what is to be done, the future course of action for combating greenhouse gas emissions and make a planet better place in 2002. And subsequently, in all the Conference of Parties, let it be in any part of the world, India has exhibited its own leadership. And so it is very important that Honorable Prime Minister has voiced Indian feelings and Indian sense of approach to the climate change in a very concise and precise manner in this prestigious virtual leadership summit on climate change, where US, for the first time, I must appreciate President Biden and his leadership initiatives. First time a country who has already worked out and played a backbencher role in climate change negotiation right from the Earth Summit in 1992 has come up with a visionary statement that US will be cutting its greenhouse gas emission 50%. This is a great commitment, and India has told in a very profound manner its commitment for the future.
Sir, we know that Biden has urged the other leaders to use this summit as an opportunity to release their country's climate ambitions and how they will take action to reduce emissions. And we also know that COP26 is very soon coming up in Glasgow in November this year. So why do you think this virtual summit before COP26, and what is the message that the United States is giving to the world by hosting the summit?
COP26 is one of the unfortunate COP which was scheduled to happen in 2020, and because in 2019 it happened in Madrid. Actually, it was planned in Chile, but because of political unrest and other reasons, Chile expressed its unwillingness. And so Spain, Madrid, come forward to organize it in Madrid in 2019, where all the global leaders, the 196 member countries of UNFCCC, participated and voiced their climate actions. As per one of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goal number 13, that climate action, every country has prepared what is the kind of the climate action they will be taking. And in addition, in 2020, December 31st, the Kyoto Protocol come to an end. It was very unfortunate that in Kyoto Protocol, many developed nations has committed a lot of finance, technology and technology transfer to developing and underdeveloped world, which could not able to happen significantly. Or not only significantly, it was very mere and negligible. And so Kyoto Protocol failed miserably. Then with a different approach in Paris in 2015, November and December came forward, COP21, where India participated and India submitted its INDC, that is Intended National Determinant Contributions. What India is willing to do by 2030. So like this, all the member countries came up with their ambitions and their desire to play their role for the global commons, and that was widely discussed and approved in Paris Climate Change Convention and agreement. and it came in the shape of Paris Agreement and become NDCs, National Determinant Contributions. So in that NDC document, India has committed many important commitments which are unique, and that shows that India is committed much more than other competing nations who are responsible for more greenhouse gas emissions like China and USA or European Union. India has committed 40% of its energy basket will come from non-fossil fuel routes, that is renewable energy, hydro and nuclear, which is very promising commitment. So it is a very important time. COP26 is derailed. It has been postponed again and again. And now it is scheduled to happen from 1st November to 12th November in Scotland, that is in Glasgow of the UK. And the president designate on behalf of government of UK, who gives the leadership to this COP26, is Alok Sharma. He is one of our colleagues from Delhi, and although he is having immigration of UK, and he is a UK citizen by now, and he is spearheading the global leadership to organize COP26, where net zero is the slogan. So by 2050, so all the member countries and all the nations of the world must commit that by 2050, all the greenhouse gas should be emitted. And India has also supported this view, but India has an opinion that 2050 is so far, and it is a very long commitment. Planet will lose, and a lot of negative impact the planet will witness to wait such a longer period. It should be even more aggressive. And let us not talk much about 2050, and let us discuss about 2030, which is in a very clear distance. And right from 15th of September 2015, for another 15 years, these SDGs have started rolling on. And so accordingly, the Paris Agreement is started operationalizing from 1st of January 2021. So unfortunately, COVID has impacted us to a greater extent. It has snatched away the climate finance. All the countries who has put their budget in their priority list to center stage the climate action, and most of these funds are diverted to tackle COVID. And that is very unfortunate, but our survival is very important for us as well as for our future generation. The whole world wish to see that climate change even much dangerous than COVID. COVID could be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years phenomena, but climate change is constantly killing us last so many years, and it will be killing more aggressively. We have already reached at a temperature of 1.2 degrees centigrade, losing 30% of our global biodiversity. The cold currents has become hot currents. The global air pressure belts has been changed, and disasters has become very common. So there is no time to wait further. And it's a very, very crucial moment, not only for USA, but not for China, but not for European Union or India or any other, Australia or Japan. It is a very serious and a time of transition for the entire planet, for all the global citizens. COVID at the one time is a big challenge, and there is another challenge which is a slow poisoning system, and we need to tackle that aggressively too. Dynamic and drastic actions to center stage the climate action.
Right, sir. I was coming to my question based on this. We know that COVID-19 pandemic is affecting the climate, and it is worsening the current environmental issues. Now, from the two-day summit, which is happening on the 22nd and 23rd of April 2021, what outcomes can we expect from the summit, and what do you think will be the obstacles to those outcomes?
Very important question again, ma'am. And thank you for putting appropriate questions one after another. And this 2 days virtual leadership summit on climate change is extremely important. Climate change doesn't obey national boundaries. Climate change, so far as climate change is concerned, whole planet is one home. And so it is very important that we need appropriate action. And the most important thing is we need to come together. So this is a great summit inviting all the countries to come together because we are on an emergency. COVID is one emergency, planetary emergency, another planetary emergency. Partnership is very important. The technology transfer is important. Climate finance is important. Clean technology flow is important. Global partnership and mutual cooperation between developing and developed countries for sustainable energy is important. Sustainable lifestyles for every individual is important. This summit is likely to arrive at a template which will give the direction towards global sustainable development and arising the climate change action ambitions of all the participating countries and keeping the temperature not to increase beyond 1.5 degrees centigrade.
Thank you, sir. That was very, very knowledgeable what we were listening from you. And we thank you once again for coming on our show and discussing on climate issues. Thank you, Dr. Panigrahi.
Thank you, ma'am.
Australia has cancelled 2 deals that the country had made with China as part of the latter's Belt and Road Initiative. Australia Foreign Minister Marise Payne overruled officials in Victoria on Wednesday, cancelling 2 deals the state made in 2018 and 2019 as part of China's vast infrastructure project. Justifying the decision, Australia said on Thursday that it cancelled 2 accords because they were out of line with the federal government's foreign policy, which sees a free and open Indo-Pacific as a key goal. In response, the Chinese embassy in Canberra has reportedly warned of further damage to bilateral relations. Multiple trade rows have affected relations between the 2 countries recently.
NASA's Perseverance rover on Mars has made oxygen from the planet's carbon dioxide atmosphere. It is the second successful technology demonstration on the mission, which flew a mini helicopter last Friday. The generation of oxygen was performed by a toaster-sized unit in the rover called MOXIE, the Mars Oxygen In Situ Resource Utilization Experiment. It made 5 grams of the gas, equivalent to what an astronaut on Mars would need to breathe for roughly 10 minutes.
Moving on to sports, in IPL cricket, Royal Challengers Bangalore defeated Rajasthan Royals by 10 wickets at Wankhede Stadium in Mumbai tonight. Chasing 178 runs, Royal Challengers Bangalore achieved the target in 16.3 overs. Royal Challengers Bangalore made 181. Batting first, Rajasthan Royals scored 177 with a loss of 9 wickets in the stipulated 20 overs with the help of Shivan Dubey, 46 in 32 ball, and Rahul Tewatia, 40 in 23 balls. Earlier, Royal Challengers Bangalore won the toss and opted to field. In the other sports news, 7 Indian women boxers have reached the gold medal round in different weight categories in the ongoing Youth World Boxing Championships in Kielce, Poland. In tennis, world number 1 Novak Djokovic beat Kwon Soon Woo in straight sets 6-1, 6-3. The Sensex and the Nifty on Thursday closed with gains of more than 0.5%. The domestic stocks climbed amid the positive cues from the global equity market amid good corporate quarterly results.
Now let us take a look at the major developments around the world as reported in the foreign press. Washington Post writes that a Syrian missile strike triggers alarms near Israeli nuclear facility and retaliatory attack. Wall Street Journal reports that jobless claims hit new pandemic low. A quick look at the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi holds a high-level meeting on oxygen supply and availability. Joe Biden announces U.S. to cut greenhouse gas emissions by 50 to 52% from 2005 levels by 2030. India has taken many bold steps on clean energy, energy efficiency, afforestation and biodiversity, asserts Prime Minister Modi at the Leaders' Summit on Climate. Germany's upper house of parliament approves new legislation on coronavirus restrictions. Indian Navy dispatches its deep submergence rescue vessel to support search and rescue of missing Indonesian submarine. And in IPL cricket, Royal Challengers Bangalore beat Rajasthan Royals by 10 wickets in Mumbai. India is celebrating the 151st birth anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi. Before we end, let's listen to his favorite bhajan Vaishnav Jan by artists from Israel. And with that, we end this bulletin. We'll be back at the same time tomorrow with the next edition of World News.